honey, welcome back. Guess what time it is? It is time for our weekly roundup, where I go over all of the eyeshadow palettes I've used over the past week or two, and I rank them from least liked to most liked. Now this week or two, I have 12 slots, and there are some repeats and there are some singles, so we did it big this week or two. I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in and tell you about the palettes, the looks, everything, blah blah blah. Now most of these looks, except for like 2 or 3, are all for work, because I work a lot, y'all. So most of the looks are work related, and I want to say also they were pretty chill looks, like nothing more than, except for the colorful ones, nothing more than like 2 or 3 shades. So I was giving you real simple this week. And oh y'all, I have so much to update you on about the community and stuff, so I have to make sure that I do a video. Maybe I'll do it like when I'm doing a couple of looks at once and tell you all the shenanigans that are going on. Anyway, let's go ahead. At number 12, I have, we'll say it together, what is it? It's in every list, every week or two. Danessa Myricks Groundwork Defining Neutrals. My love, my heart. Now, instead of taking the entire palette with me, I actually just put the shades I use all the time, I put them in this little Kit Pack magnetic palette. So basically, I'm going to show you this is the packaging, of course, and I popped out the duos that I use the most and then just put them in here to this kit pack. Now most of the kit packs have the magnetic part on both ends, but this red one is the only one that has the mirror. So I really like that because I can just pop shades in there, and you can get quite a few in there, especially the round like 26 millimeter palette or pans. You can get quite a few in there, and so I just wanted to take the shades that I use and not worry about the other ones. This was a super duper simple look, okay? And whenever I do that with this palette, I tend to pair the look with a red lip. So becoming my classic, okay? This is my go-to kind of look. And the special thing about this look is that I wore it to go meet my friend Charlotte. Now, Charlotte is the daughter of my friend from college. I mean, we're not just friends, we're friends. We were college roommates our freshman year. I mean, the whole entire family is amazing. I love each and every one of them, okay? My friend, her partner, her daughter, her son, her mom, her dad, her dog Archie. Everybody I love. But Charlotte and I had not met in person, like face to face, right? So we met, and it was amazing, and I love her, and I love the whole family, like I said. And Charlotte gave me a book to borrow. I read it yesterday, the whole thing. And yeah, of course I'm going to go back. It was tough because I was coming straight from work. Basically, I had been up since 5 a.m. and I went right after work in DC traffic. And I was like tired. So I stayed a couple of hours. I stayed like 4 hours. And then I was like, I gotta go home. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go back and spend time with them, and this time I'll be more chill, I think, and I also will not have on 6-inch thigh-high black boots. Anyway, so that is what made that look special. That was number 12. Did I say that? Number 11 is the Melt Rust palette. Y'all remember Melt Cosmetics? Y'all remember this palette? Now, I was a fan of Melt since when they had the stacks. Let me know if you had the stacks. I know I always say this. Now, when they started to do palettes, I was actually kind of disappointed because I really loved the stacks. So I wanted to make sure to sort of get the palettes of the stacks I had, and this is one of them. Now, I think that most people experience a difference in the formula and the formula of the stacks versus the palettes, and the stacks win out always. But here we are. And so I feel like this is the quintessential fall palette. You've got the like different tones of brown. You have the orangey, yellow shades. I feel like this is just fall in a palette, right? Now there are 3 shimmers in here. The rest are mattes. And I did, again, a very simple, I'm looking at the picture, child, could it be any more simple? That's the kind of look that I did. But I was just feeling like I really want to use that palette. And so I think Melt is the other brand I'm going to focus on getting more use out of. I just feel like they've unfortunately fallen off a little bit. Not many people talk about them, but I enjoy the palettes I have from them. So I've got quite a few. I'll make sure to keep throwing those in there. At number 10, I have the Natasha Denona Mini Star palette. Again, work look. I did this look at work at my desk. And the larger star palette, it's one of the OGs from Natasha's brand. That's the only older palette from her that I didn't get, like the only one. So I haven't used the Mini Star in a while. I think I tend to use like the Mini Biba and the Mini Nude and the Mini Glam, blah blah blah, all of those more so than like the Mini Star. It's kind of just lower on my list of enjoyment, but again, I thought it was a cute look. It was perfect for work or the office. Like, I think it really, you know, when I say work friendly, office friendly, I'm talking about my job as a psychologist. Like, I still go out there with some things, but depending on who I'm seeing on the day, and I always know my schedule ahead of time, sometimes I'm like, just chill, okay? We don't need to do all that. And I also really enjoy taking the minis rather than larger palettes because my heart won't break if this breaks. Yeah, it's fine, whatever. So did the look, and it was one for work, really simple. Again, I think I know I didn't use every shade, probably like 2. And here is number 9. This is a quad that I put together, again, for a work look, though this one leans more pink purple. And let me tell you the shades. This one it's almost like a matte shimmer. This is the shade Pandora from Sydney Grace. Here is the shade the shade Feeling Crummy from Copacetic Cosmetics. This is Sydney Grace Sugar Bear, and this is Sydney Grace Maroon. This shade is actually from the, what is it called? The Tropical palette they did with Tina, the Fancy Face. And these pans are just in a magnetic palette from Copacetic Cosmetics. Like, their shades came in here and I just took them out and put them with all my other singles. So I really like this look. I thought it was cute, and I really enjoy putting together like little palettes. Really enjoy it. Just taking out different shades, putting them together, seeing what look I can create, and that really helps me to use my singles a lot. Now, at number 8, we have, what do we have here? Okay, number 8, we have one of the OG Pat McGrath palettes. This one is Sublime. So I did a look with this palette, and I'm just really focusing on palettes that I enjoy. Now, me and Patricia go way back, okay? And so I'm just always going to be a fan of these motherships. At least, you know, I feel like maybe like 1 through 6, 1 through 5. Those are like the OG. Maybe including Divine Rose. So that's number 7. After that, I think that's when she stepped away from the brand or sold a portion of it or something. Somebody else just be giving us pinks, okay? So I really like the OGs. I like the other ones too, but I want to make sure to get use out of them. I think my mindset on them has changed, where initially I was like, these are the golden idols, like they cannot be used. And now I'm like, girl, if you don't use your palettes. So this was a really cute look. Again, I didn't do a ton. I did use some of like the special shades, and I just find that the earlier palettes are a bit more unique than the later palettes of her motherships. So here is that. I did not purchase the new holiday palette. maybe I will. You know, they be having like sales every other fortnight, so I don't know. I might. I'm just getting on sale, okay? And at number 7, that was a combination, and it was a combo of the Nomad Okavango Safari palettes along with the primary yellow Colorfix matte from Danessa Myricks. Now, I used this palette and that Colorfix for the look I did in one of the Copy Kitty collabs that I do with my good girlfriend Jan Van. And I was trying to, my own interpretation, because it wasn't the same look that Ivy Kungu did, and she's amazing and very talented, but out of everything, this palette had all the shades I was looking for. Like initially when I was trying to figure out what palettes and shades I would use, I was pulling lots of different palettes that had some of them that had other colors, but this one had everything. And I knew I wanted to use this primary yellow Colorfix matte. I don't know why, I've just been really into it lately. I do love the Colorfix. I will say that I like the mattes better than the other formulas. I've tried the other ones. I like the mattes and I like the glaze. Yeah, but those are the ones that I like the most out of all of the different like formulas. So this look was super fun. I'm really trying to make the Copy Kitty videos not as stressful as they tend to be for me. This one was a fun one. You know, I had a lot of fun doing this one. But I forgot how to draw stars. How you draw those? I don't even remember. Like, I don't know, child. So mine are just like little sprinkle of stars. I don't know. At number 6, I have the Blend Bunny Cosmetics All Done Up palette. Very simple neutral palette. For me, it doesn't stand out amongst my other palettes just because I have a lot of palettes I reach for when I'm doing like a neutral kind of look. And let me grab this one. Ugh. I tend to try to use my Rebellious Nudes palette from Colored Rain just to be supportive of the brand, and you know the shades are 100% for sure tones. So if you look, you know there's some difference because of course the Colored Rain one doesn't have some of these cooler like greenish tones. But yeah, this is just a neutral palette. I think I did a nice soft look with it, and this is probably the most neutral palette they have, right? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what else they come out with. I know they just had a collab come out, but the palette is huge, so I'm not getting that. But yeah, I thought it was a nice neutral, simple, pretty look. Speaking of pretty, at number 5, I used the Space Chemistry palette from Terra Moons. Now, this palette, the one thing that is special about it, I guess there are other things, but this shade here is not the original shade in the palette. The shade is called Meteor Sand. That's the original one. But you were able to let them know if you wanted to switch that shade out for something else. So I decided to do that because Meteor Sand, if I'm remembering correctly, it was sort of like a light tan. I'm like, I don't need any more of those in my palettes and in my life. So I was like, oh, let me choose something else. But they have so many single shadows that I couldn't choose. So I asked the brand to choose for me, and they chose the shade Perseus. So there are only 2 mattes in here. So you do have to be a little creative. And initially I was like, why they choose that one? Why they choose like a blue tone gray? But I love the way that it looked with this look. So I'm definitely like, okay, I'm coming around to it, right? I think a lot of it is because I tend to like a very deep, dark outer V. And so this isn't as dark as I would typically go, but I loved it. I was feeling all of myself. That sounds dirty. So I mean that too, but I just felt like I looked really cute with the look. Okay, number 4, we're rounding out the PMG Pat McGrath palettes. I used the very first Mothership 1 Subliminal. Here it is. I would say this is like the most cool tone, like kind of non-Pat McGrath palette amongst the Motherships. Like, it just, to me, it just gives off different vibes than the first, or I'm sorry, than the rest of them. These shades are just cooler toned. They're less like pink in your face. And yeah, even this shade here, this shimmer, I really like it. And it's, I don't know, it's pretty. So yeah, I enjoy this one. I really do like the original 3. Subliminal, Sublime, and Subversive. And yeah, I really liked this look. It was just really pretty. I really enjoyed it. And I was like, this is Pat McGrath. Yes. Now, if you have Pat McGrath palettes, you know that you're going to get like a softer, like gentler look than if you're using other brands that are there for like the color and the boom pow, right? But I really appreciate that you can get a soft look, but it's still interesting. And it's just, it's lovely. Isn't she lovely? All right. So, top 3. This is going to be weird, okay? Because numbers 3 and 2, I used the exact combination of palettes. Guess who? What brand did I use? Danessa Myricks. This time, I used the Groundwork Blooming Romance. I got you, right? You thought I was going to use something else. You thought I was going to use the Defining Neutrals. But no, I used the Blooming Romance. I think I even used one of the shades for my lipstick, I guess, in one of the looks. Not only did I use this, because of course this is all matte or like putties and matte, I paired the palette with her newest Lightwork Volume 6, the Freedom palette. And I really wanted in one of the looks like a pink kind of vibe, because I'm just always going to pick pink if I have a choice. And I think the other one was like a purpley blue. And if you have not experienced this palette, you should. Like, you really should. If not for the shades, then for the, like, packaging. Like, you can pop this out, and it's a mirror, and everything is magnetic in here. You can even pop the shades out and maybe combine them either in there. You can store things in there. Or I could have thrown a couple of those shades in here with some of the Groundworks if I wanted to add some sparkle to the matte. Anyway, so I enjoyed both of these looks, and yeah, I was like, oh wow. I didn't even realize that I did that combination like 2 different times. I just kept wanting to use the Blooming Romance, and I'm really enjoying the newest Lightwork, and apparently I felt like that on like several occasions. At number 1, now this was done, I believe, solely with single shadows. The main players for this look, it was the Copy Kitty look I did maybe like a week or 2 ago. And I used the shade Black is Black, this matte from Natasha Denona. I don't even think she sells these singles anymore. I do know that the shade Black is Black, I know it is in, if not several, definitely one of her newer palettes in the past couple of years. But I still have the single, and I used that and paired it with Terra Moons Moon Kissed. And it was a very just like drama look, very like bright middle lid and dark outer. And I think that I was taking inspiration from like this black and white, really cool, almost creepy photo, and just kind of interpreted it and did a look on my eyes. And I really, really liked that look. I had fun with it, even though it was like super duper simple. Whew, child. And if I didn't say, I'm feeling like I didn't, that shade in the Terra Moons palette, this is called Perseus. Not sure if I said that, but just realizing too that Terra Moons made a couple of appearances. So Danessa Myricks was used several times, Terra Moons, and Pat McGrath. Right? Yeah, so lots of repeat brands in here. Okay, let me know if you have any of these palettes, any of these singles that I mentioned. I also would like to know, what did you wear the last week or two? And what you might be wearing next week. I haven't really put much thought into it to determine what I'll be doing. I like to sometimes think ahead, but yeah, I don't know. Give me some ideas if you'd like. Anyways, I hope that some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. I would love it if you liked the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Please. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.